Hi everyone, my name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield. I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. So today in our Bible reading plan, we are in both Numbers 25 and we're in Psalm 68. And we're going to primarily spend our time in Psalm 68, but what is so cool is what we read in Psalm 68 will point us back to what is happening for the people of Israel in Numbers 25. So I encourage you to read those two passages together. I'll share a little bit about that as we go on, but I want to start by reading Psalm 68. We're going to read verses 1 through 10. And just first observations, we're going to see a good description again of who God is. I think we can never lose sight of who he is. It's really important to build our definition and our understanding of just who this God is. And there's some really great titles given to God here in these verses. And then that kind of takes us through verse 6. And then as we get to verse 7 through 10, that's where it's going to really point us back to what's happening in Numbers 25 with God's people, Israel. Okay? So here we go. Psalm 68, starting verse 1. It says, God shall arise, his enemies shall be scattered, and those who hate him shall flee before him. A smoke is driven away, so you shall drive them away. As wax melts before fire, so the wicked shall perish before God. But the righteous shall be glad. They shall exult before God. They shall be jubilant with joy. Sing to God. Sing praises to his name. Lift up a song to him who rides through the deserts. His name is the Lord. Exult before him. Now check out these titles. Father of the fatherless. Protector of widows is God in his holy habitation. God settles the solitary in a home. He leads out the prisoners to prosperity, but the rebellious dwell in a parched land. Are those just beautiful descriptors of who God is? We see great parts of his heart there, and his heart for the fatherless, his heart for the widow, and his heart for those who are isolated on their own. It's just beautiful. And then we get to verse 7. Listen to this. It says, "Oh God, when you went out before your people, when you marched through the wilderness," are you here in Numbers 25 in the book of Numbers? The earthquake, the heavens poured down rain before God, the one of Sinai, before God, the one of Israel. Rain in abundance, O God, you shed abroad. You restored your inheritance as it languished. Your flock found a dwelling in it. In your goodness, O God, you provided for the needy. So, I've mentioned it now a few times. We get this definition, these titles for God that are just beautiful definitions. It helps us understand who he is at deeper levels. And then we get into verses 7 through 10, and we get a picture of what God did. The psalmist is pointing back to the journey through the wilderness for the people of Israel from the land of Egypt to the promised land. And he's pointing back to one thing in particular. And it's something that we can see almost in every verse, in every chapter, in every book of the Bible. It's the faithfulness of God. The psalmist is pointing back to the faithfulness of God, that no matter how unfaithful God's people got, no matter how much they complained and grumbled, no matter how much they said, yes, Lord, we'll follow you, and then the next moment they didn't, he remained faithful to his promise. He remained faithful to his people. In fact, it's quite interesting, as it says in verse 7, "Oh God, when you went out before your people, when you marched through the wilderness," pointing back to this journey. In Numbers 25, it's not a good text for the people of Israel. They're doing a lot of bad things, okay? Even though God's been faithful. My commentary says here, for chapter 25, verses 1 to 18, it says, "Once again, Israel is unfaithful to the Lord. However, unlike earlier times when they were unfaithful, like at Sinai, in this case, God does not threaten to destroy the whole nation or delay their entry into Canaan, the promised land. God will fulfill his promises to Israel in spite of their continuing unfaithfulness." And many years later, the psalmist would speak of that faithfulness despite the unfaithfulness. Friends, the same God who did that for the people of Israel back in the Old Testament is the same God that we worship and follow today. And despite the times, moments, weeks, months, years that we are unfaithful at times, that doesn't mean God is unfaithful. God is always faithful, and you can always count on him. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.